Alpha Sessions.
So, hi and welcome to Alpha Sessions. I've got Daniel McGuinness here, who's a very talented artist from Kent. I'm very excited to be introducing him. This is your first time here, I believe.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice to be here.
Amazing. Have you ever done any radio work before?
Yeah, I've done one or two bits. So, yeah, I mean, I've only really been doing, sort of putting myself out there like this for the last year or so. And it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I've done a few bits of radio, like just interviews like here we are like now, but I've also done some performances as well. So
I have to say, your music, it was very, very deep and beautiful, and you have this amazing voice, and I can't wait for people to hear it, and we can talk about that. But my first question for you was, what got you into music in the first place?
I think growing up, it's just always something that was around me as a child, as a teenager. I grew up in an Irish household, so there's always sort of traditional Irish music going on in the speaker system, you know, on weekends, family gatherings and things like that. And then, you know, like most people, you get into adolescence and you start to sort of discover your own tastes.
Yes.
And they develop that way organically. And I just found myself driven to a lot of music where a guitar was involved, and I just thought to myself, well, wouldn't it be quite cool if I could play these songs that I'm hearing and enjoying, and just sort of faithfully, you know, recreate the songs, but also maybe put my own spin on them as well.
Interesting.
And then it just grew from there, really.
Yeah.
So I got guitar lessons, and then got to a point where I knew enough that I could just go on the internet, go on YouTube, things like that, and add to my repertoire of songs. And that's kind of as far as it went, as I say, until the last year or so. I mean, I would do the occasional charity gig and things like that, maybe once or twice a year. After COVID, or during COVID even, it gave everyone, including myself, a lot of chance to think and just to pause and take stock about what it is I wanted to do in life generally, what makes me happy. And so I sort of made a decision, okay, well, when things start to open up again, I'm going to put myself out there a little bit, start trying to gig regularly.
Brilliant.
Take opportunities where I can to go busking. Kent's quite good in that there are some good busking spots. And I'm in Sittingbourne, which is sort of equidistant between East and West Kent. So you've got Canterbury to the east, you've got a place like Rochester, which is also really good.
Nice areas.
Yeah, it's good, and it's their areas are quite high footfall, and they're good spots for busking. And I mean, busking generally is a really good organic way of sort of gauging public opinion, and
Definitely.
you know, if you can capture someone's attention who's just walking past, going about their daily business, then you know you've sort of got something. And it's a good way of sort of testing what works, testing what doesn't work. You can then bring what does work into a paid gig scenario. And it's just a really good way of honing your skills, I think.
Definitely.
And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. I've also spent some time in the studio and started releasing and writing a lot more of my own stuff as well, because I did dabble a little bit with writing a few bits here and there sort of over the years previously, but I never took it that seriously, and it's something that I'm looking to get into more, because it's a craft and it's something that you can improve on. And it's just, I'm really enjoying the journey of sort of exploring where it takes me and trying to improve my skills in that area as well. So
Amazing, really interesting. I'd like to know a little bit more about your songwriting process a little bit later, actually. But I was interested in what you said about growing up in an Irish household, and did that, because I mean I'm more on the German side, but I'm quite interested in Irish culture. Did that have any influence on the way you lived and the music scene, or did you go your own way?
I think it gave me a grounding, and it gave me an initial interest. I don't think many people listening to my music would associate it with traditional Irish music, but what I think it did give me is maybe an ear for melody. I think a lot of the great Irish folk songs just have such a catchy, memorable tune to them. And especially when you're in the early stage of life and your brain is sort of developing at such a quick rate, things like music and language, they just, you know, your brain's like a sponge, and I think being around that consistently from such a young age, it sticks with you, and and it's absorbed. And then
Absolutely.
I think what happened for me is that when I did reach adolescence, I wasn't necessarily interested in recreating directly what I'd heard, but I think it allowed me to take what I'd listened to and what I'd learned in terms of music theory a little bit, and just sort of melody and song structure, and just sort of building it in my own way, because I'm from an Irish family, but I'm lived in London and Kent all my life, so it was around me at home, but once you go out into the world, it's a different place. But
what I thought was really interesting was when you started singing, I just noticed myself go, I was shook. I was like, that's the same voice as your speaking voice. It was so amazingly, like, you just never know what someone's singing voice will be like sometimes. And I have that myself. When I sing, people are like, no, that's not you. That's not you. No, I don't. And so I guess I was kind of curious about, do you find when you sing, there's another part of your personality which you can show that is not so easy to show when you're talking, or it just feels like it's all you? Or because it does feel like it's even stronger than just the speaking for a lot of people.
I think music generally, and for me when I write my music, it allows you to sort of be honest, and you can put it into the songs and maybe say things you wouldn't necessarily say out loud in conversation. I think that's the beauty of music generally, and songwriting. But what I do try and do is leave a little bit of ambiguity in there, so that the listener can attach their own meaning to what they're hearing, rather than sort of me force any sort of meaning upon them. But it's great, because it allows me to just express myself and just put thoughts to paper, and it's quite therapeutic, I think, as well.
Amen. So the first song, Gone, I'm looking at the lyrics that I jotted down. I don't know why I do this. You walk by into another life. I don't know why I care. It definitely resonated. I was thinking about past songs I've heard about unrequited love, even a song I wrote about unrequited love, and I don't know how much you like to share, and you said also there's ambiguity within your songs, so we will never know really what exactly it's about, I guess, and that's the beauty of art. But I suppose the listener may be curious, your fans may be curious about the backstories of that. Do you have any context to what that song's about, or do you prefer to leave it as a mystery?
I mean, when I wrote it, I wasn't sort of thinking about anything too specific. I was thinking more about the theme of loss in general, be it sort of romantic loss, also just relationships in general, be it friends and family. And I think I try and write music that people can relate to. And I think something like that is something that everyone's experienced.
Absolutely.
And again, it comes back to that theme of just sort of allowing the listener to attach their own meaning to it. That I'm sort of presenting the music and the lyrics, and then they can do with it what they will.
I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I care. You walk right by into another life, and I don't know why I care. I thought you were looking at me, but it was a vacant stare. It took some time to be clear in my mind that you weren't even there. 'Cause you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. You ain't coming back no more. Another 7 days sober, another year older still. When they ask me, dear, why I'm keeping you near, I'm doing it for the thrill. 'cause you're good. You're gone, you're good. You ain't coming back no more. Look through me now. Talk to me, 'cause I'm screaming out. And I look around, but you're nowhere to be found. I don't know why I do this, 'cause you don't even care.
The Alpha Sessions.
And so when you write music, what's your process?
I mean, it can often start with a turn of phrase that I hear or that I just think of and I come up with, or I might just be fiddling around on my guitar and I'll play a little something that sounds quite nice, and I'll just get my phone recorder out and just hit record and just mess around with it for a few minutes and just sort of see if any lyrics come to mind.
Interesting.
Which did happen with this song. I was fiddling around with some alternate tunings because some of my favourite artists mess around with different tunings as well, and I don't want to get too technical with the guitar, but the standard guitar tuning...
Someone will understand somewhere.
Well, if you use open guitar tunings, it allows I think the instrument to sort of speak in a way that it doesn't usually, and the sort of the tonal quality of it is quite atmospheric and quite beautiful, really. So I mess around with a few different tunings and settled on the one that I use for this song, and it just makes the guitar sound really nice. The
guitar in that song is absolutely it's so beautiful, delightful. That's a new word for me. I like to use old school words. Chuffed and delightful came out today. It's beautiful. It's really looking forward to people hearing that song, and the guitar is really, really good. Who has inspired you artistically? You mentioned some of your some artists that you like use a specific kind of guitar style. Who has inspired you over the years?
I mean, we touched previously on adolescence and you sort of forming your own taste. I mean, there's an American band called the Goo Goo Dolls.
Of course, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a huge hit with Iris, which was big in the 90s. That song sort of introduced me to them, but then I sort of dug into like the YouTube rabbit hole of their back catalogue, and every single song I heard was, wow, this is amazing. And when you're in your early teens, you're sort of looking for a bit of direction, and music can sort of help you find that.
Yes.
And I was just hooked, absolutely hooked. And this is before I played the guitar. And it kind of went from there. And there was also some British bands, the big ones, Oasis, Stereophonics, the sort of Britpop, guitar, rock bands. And then more recently, as I've sort of got a little bit more into songwriting, I've been listening to some sort of solo singer-songwriters, people like David Gray, Jake Bugg, who's sort of a bit more my age, and just people like that. And I think I do have quite a wide taste in music in terms of what I listen to, and that's the beauty of modern technology. You can listen to anything whenever you want. And my parents are really into their country music, so that sort of influenced me a little bit. And it's quite wide ranging, to be honest with you. But it all started for me with this band, the Goo Goo Dolls, and a couple of other sort of 90s post grunge, a little bit soft rock sort of bands like Lifehouse, Switchfoot, guys like that. And it just kind of went from there. And I mean, I could show you my Spotify library. It's just so many different artists, some quite obscure, some not so obscure. Again, anything with a nice melody that I can listen to and enjoy, and maybe even learn to play on the guitar is something that I'll happily listen to.
It's cool that way, isn't it? Because then whatever mood you're in, you can find something to suit your mood. Exactly. And that's the cool thing about music, isn't it?
Exactly.
So we have song number 2, right next to me. Yeah. And the lyrics were, I won't be late. I noticed some really interesting lyrics at the start, quite almost mysterious, like quite slightly dark. And I'm really fascinated in that, the dark side of life, the yin and the yang. And then there was something like bodies on the floor. Could you expand on any of that, or is that all again is it metaphorical, surreal, things like that?
It is a little bit. The song is kind of about, like, I mean, similar to the first song actually. It's sort of about like past relationships. Some are still going, some aren't going anymore. But it's more about sort of looking back at those and saying, fine, that's the past, and now where I'm at now, I'm very happy. So I don't know, maybe the bodies on the floor lyric is a little bit of sort of the people that aren't around in my life anymore, and it's just sort of, okay, well, let's let them stay there.
How high the cost, and how long the road. I've been walking around my mind, trying to count the bodies on the floor, and I won't give up. No, I won't give up. 'Cause I know the lies that keep you warm at night, and it's nice to learn this time. It's one step forward and two steps back, and I won't be late. No, I won't be late. The difference is inside, for all that's left to find. Girl, have you lost your mind? 'Cause all I wanna see is you right next to me. Is you right next to me. Is you right next to me. Inside you're strong, but you can only pretend for so long. Girl, I have all of the answers if you just give me the questions. Don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. The difference is inside, for all that's left to find. Girl, have you lost your mind? 'Cause all I wanna see is you right next to me. Is you right next to me. Is you right next to me. How long is too long? I really need to know, and I want you to show. How long is too long? 'Cause I need you to know. The difference is inside, for all that's left to find. Girl, have you lost your mind? 'Cause all I wanna see is you right next to me. 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 Is you right next to me.
The Alpha Sessions.
Did you have any particular inspirations for that song, or that just came also in the pandemic, or?
I think I wrote it about 7 or 8 months ago. It's just one of those moments where I was at home with a guitar and just I strummed a few chords and I thought, oh, that sounds quite nice. Mm-hmm. And a few turns of phrases just came out, and I try not to overthink things too much, and I'll let the words kind of fall out, and then when there's enough on the paper I can try and sort of say, okay, what's this song going to be about? What can it mean?
Yeah.
And just let it happen and try not to overthink it too much.
Exactly.
Because I'm the sort of person, when I think too hard about something, you just get a bit of writer's block and you can't get anything down because you think, well, nothing's going to be quite good enough, and you know, what, there's something better that I can say here.
Absolutely.
I can always write another song that, with some more lyrics if I feel that a certain song maybe isn't quite up to scratch. So
such an important practice to be able to be like that.
I think so.
Just make it for yourself.
Exactly.
Do you have, in terms of the people who enjoy your music, is it your friends, is it people that you know, your family, or have other people outside of your social circle reached out to you with saying that they've been listening to your music?
So I'm really lucky that I've got some really good friends around me and family as well, and they're all really supportive, and if ever I come out with some new piece of music, they're more than happy to listen to it and give me some support or give me some feedback. Amazing. Which is great. As I've started to get out there and gig a little bit more and busk as well, it's great to introduce the public a little bit to my music. What I try and do is play a significant amount of covers and things like that people will know, which can then be a sort of an introduction to myself, if you will, and then I can then throw in a few originals as well and sort of say, well, this is what I'm about. If you enjoy it, great. So whenever I'm gigging or busking, I'll always try and do a mix of covers and originals, just to try and broaden the appeal. I just feel like if I was to do a gig and only play my own stuff, it'd be great for a certain type of individual, but I think a lot of people they like to hear songs that they know, the majority of the time at least. So I try and cater to as many people as possible.
Yeah, I can understand that, definitely. Then we had When the Lights Go Down.
Yeah.
This was the song where I noticed in the chorus you showed a different range, and it was maybe a higher and almost slightly country. I don't know what genre actually I'd call that, but it was really, really nice to hear the higher range. What inspired this song and that side of your voice to come out?
Yeah, so this is quite not unique, but it's in a smaller group of songs I've written that it's actually I went into it knowing that I was going to write about a specific topic. So it's about my granddad's struggle with Alzheimer's disease, and the song is sort of written as a conversation between him and his wife, my nan, and it's kind of just about not only the struggle that he was going through, but also the effect it was having on her, and also maybe our family generally, because anyone who knows someone who's had Alzheimer's knows all too well that it doesn't just affect the person, it affects everyone that is around them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean the title is kind of a metaphor for the episodes that he would have where he would just forget who he was, where he was, who his wife was, and yeah, it's just kind of about that. And it was quite therapeutic for me to write it because he's sadly no longer with us, but it's nice to, even though the song is quite sad, it's quite nice to remember him when I play it and when I sing it, so it's quite nice in that respect.
Absolutely. And if you're anything like me, I mean, I definitely, since my grandparents have passed away, got one left, but I have noticed I can feel their sort of love in a way that you only hear about this, but you almost feel their support. And I think when you write a song about your granddad, somewhere they do hear it. So it's special for them too, and it's beautiful, and we would never have known that's what it was about. So it's really
that
interesting.
ambiguity, isn't it? I try not to label it too visibly, and I like people to listen to the lyrics and maybe make their own interpretations, but obviously I know what it's about.
You've got the key.
So I'm going to have my own meaning, but people can have their own meaning. That's perfectly fine.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And can we have your socials so that people can find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and Facebook and SoundCloud at Daniel F. McGuinness.
Awesome.
And I always tell people that McGuinness is spelt the same way as the drink. So it's 2 N's and 2 S's, because a lot of people
That
always
helps,
miss out
doesn't
one
it?
of the N's. Yeah.
You heard it here, guys. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
So falling again, but your soul is harder to bend, and your eyes are swollen, and your head feels broken, and the war never ends. It's true, time heals a pain, but the scars will always remain. Close your eyes, I'll be there. Run my hands through your hair, and the noise will fade in the grave. So save me from myself and take me somewhere else. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down again. I tried to be where you are. I don't know if I'll make it that far, but I hold out my hand in this sinking quicksand, 'cause you know I'm here till the end. So save me from myself, take me somewhere else. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down again. Feels like I'm spiraling, but I know you'll get me through. My body is idling, but somehow I'll make it to you. Yeah, somehow I'll make it to you. So save me from myself, take me somewhere else. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down. Save me from this hell, 'cause I'm just not myself. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down again.